everybody goes down there and says pretty much the same thing. So I talked a little differently. You know, I remember one day, one game down there, Bianchi or somebody said, "Who's your punter going to be?" And I said, well, we hadn't really put a lot of emphasis on punting because I don't think we are going to punt a lot this year. And they said, well, this guy's crazy.
Another Dooley Noted podcast comes to you from the Coach's Podcast Room at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill in Celebration Point. Okay, and welcome into another Dooley Noted podcast presented by Titan MRI and Imaging, coming to you from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. Coach Spurrier will be in here a little bit later. So will Robbie Andrew be joining us via the Big Mills Cheesesteaks Zoom line for Yes, No, Where, Maybe. Good show. Today, as we always do on Mondays, and then on Thursday, David Steele's going to join us. We'll talk to him about his time as a Gator announcer more than anything. We will get into the Magic. Of course, he just retired, for those of you who don't know. We love David Steele, and I'll tell you a quick story about David. My second date with my wife, Karen, first date was Steve Spurrier's birthday party. I was laying it all out there. I wanted her to be my girlfriend. Second date, she was a Magic fan. She lived in Orlando. I got from David Steele, bought a couple of tickets in the lower bowl for Game 7, Pacers versus Magic. Magic won, ended up going to the finals after that. So David Steele, you are partly responsible, as is Coach Spurrier, for us getting married, and I'm very happy you did. We have a wonderful relationship. It's great. All right. So that's what we got right now. Let's go ahead and get going with our Money Metals starting 5. MoneyMetals.com is your home for gold and silver purchases, one of the largest distributors in all the United States. 2 Gator grads are running it, and you can reach them at 1-800-800-1865 or at MoneyMetals.com. Okay, well, we'll start with number 1 on our Money Metals starting 5, which would be the World Cup. It is over now. I will say I've watched a ton of soccer. I'm not a giant soccer fan, as you know. We've talked about this. I've covered soccer in the past. I appreciate the sport, but I'm just not into it as much as I am other sports, and I got plenty of sports to watch. But we watched the World Cup, and I was thinking about this. What if we only had the March Madness every 4 years? That'd be interesting. I don't really understand why we can't do the World Cup every 2 years like they do the Ryder Cup. Because look at the crowds. It's just incredible. You should do it more, but maybe that's because it's only every 4 years. That's the way it is. I don't know. But anyway, it's over now. Some of us can go back to not caring about soccer, but we cared about this, and I watched every minute of it. Spain was a better team. They won. I'm glad they won. Argentina had won it, so I wanted Spain to win it this year. It was interesting. It was a lot of fun to watch the whole thing. I think it was good for America in the end. Not so good some of the things that happened, but in the end it was really good for America that people got over here and realized we're not, our cities are not like on fire and there's dogs running everywhere, or something. I don't know. I think it was really good for America. I think that's the best way to say it. And the thing about Spain is they host next year. They're one of the 3 hosts with Portugal and Morocco. Although I know that the president has asked that he wants to host it again and he wants to keep Mexico and Canada out of it. I'm not going to get into that. But anyway, it wasn't a good look for Argentina after the game. There was a lot of pushing and shoving and grabbing guys by the throat. They got upset. Who knows what was said? That's the interesting thing to me is I'm wondering what language the referee is speaking. Is he speaking Spanish because they're both countries that speak Spanish? Or I'm sure they have different dialects. I don't know that much about Argentina and Spain. Or does he just speak English and says you got to keep up? I don't know. I always wonder about things like that, stupid things like that. And you got a lot of time to let your mind wander in a soccer match because he kicks it back again. I will say this. I was thinking about it. My wife said, and she had a good point. She said that the reason I don't think we get as into soccer as we do other, like football and stuff, is not much happens. And like at a football game, you're just trying to get a first down. And when you get it, there's a reason to cheer. But I said, she goes, and the ball's always being kicked sideways. And I said, have you never heard of a bubble screen before? That's a sideways pass. Sometimes they kick it behind them. Well, there's flea flickers. I mean, look, football's a way better sport. More people like soccer. It's not. I don't think it really matters. What matters is we had a successful World Cup, and I don't think anybody, I hope, got in serious trouble physically, or got shot or anything. We had a good World Cup, and it was fun, and everybody enjoyed it. And I'm just going to leave it right there. All right, let us go to number 2 on our Money Medal starting 5, and that is at SEC Media Days start today. Now, I don't consider it the start of the season. I know a lot of people do, and they will tell you that, but it's not. Does that mean the season technically started with Big 12 Media Days? I mean, that's still college football in a power conference. No, look, there's still, when this Media Days is done, it's still 2 weeks till Florida even starts practicing. What it is the start of college football season for all the staff members, the coaches, all the people that work, all the analysts, because once they they're all back from vacation now, and they've done their, I know most of them only take a week or a few days here and there, but they're back and they're ready to get going forward with the plan for camp once they get back from Tampa. And of course, John Summerall goes on the third day. Look forward to watching that. But I'm going to sit and watch a lot of it today, believe me. It's something I really enjoy. I enjoy watching it. I enjoy it. It gets boring. There's no question about it. Being there is really boring. This is going to be the year where I think the theme that most of the hacks will take is that it's a get back year. The SEC needs to get back. And we'll talk about this with Coach Spurrier. They need to get back to where they were dominating. Big Ten's won 3 in a row. Well, those are facts. Nothing you can do about it. Can Florida get back to relevancy? Can Auburn get back to relevancy? I mean, these are 2 proud programs. Can Georgia get back there again to the SEC and win another SEC and have a chance to win a national championship? So, I mean, they're not trying to get back. They're trying to maintain and try to win a championship. Can Texas get back to reality? Because everybody's penciled them in, and it's title or bust season. And, boy, you don't like to have those kind of seasons. You like to have that kind of talent, but you don't like to have those kind of seasons. Can Missouri get back to winning big games again? I think they went 8-0 against unranked teams and 0-5 against ranked teams, or some crazy stat like that last year. So that's going to be the story, I think, out of there is teams, programs trying to get back. And for Alabama, can Alabama get back to being a dominant team? I don't think they can. In fact, I use this on my my column for Main Street Daily News. I have a tweet of the week, and the tweet was from a college football writer, and he was pointing out that of the top, I think it was 17 prospects in the state of Alabama, none were committed to Alabama. They'd all gone somewhere else. A lot of them to Ohio State. I don't know, man. I don't know. This could be an interesting year. Like, I wrote about the hot seats too this week for Main Street Daily News, and Shane Beamer's definitely on one. There's no question. If Zach says he is, then he is. Okay. He's on one, but I guess the other coach would be DeBoer. Now, he just got an extension and everything. I don't know if they have the finances to do that, but I'm sure they have plenty of money. We'll see. But it's going to be fun to see. I miss it a little bit. And here's what I almost went this year. And then I thought, well, look, you're going to go down there and you'd like to stay a couple of days and see all your friends and talk to people and pick up some stuff and maybe use some stuff we can use later, maybe do some interviews, get some guys to come on the podcast. And then I went, who's paying for that? You are. No, I'm not doing that. So I decided against it, but I do miss it, a lot of it, a lot of the parts. We'll talk to Robbie about that a little bit later. All right, let's get to number 3 on our money medals. Starting 5, and that is the British Open. Don't call it the Open. I don't believe in that. The British Open, which is what it is, and Ryan Fox winning, which was a lot of fun. I think somebody made this point, and it's a great point. There are now 5 animals engraved on the trophy, the claret jug. See if I can find these. Fox, obviously. Tiger. Finch. Ian Baker Finch won. Martin. Some guy named Roy Martin won. I don't know. Martin is a kind of a bird. It's kind of a black bird. And what was the other one? Oh, Ray. Stingray. Harry Ray, who was a very good golfer back in the old days. So 5 birds. There's some trivia for you. See if anybody else can name them. I thought the coverage was awful, to be honest with you. It was hard to find the ball. Sometimes they couldn't find the ball. And I know this because 10 years ago, maybe 15 years ago, I ripped ABC's coverage at the time of the British Open because it just felt like we were watching it through a film, and you couldn't find the balls and all this stuff. Anyway, and Steve Melnick, who was doing the broadcast, who's a friend, sent me an email and said, hey, man, we have no choice. We have to take the BBC's feed. Well, that ended like 9 years ago, something like that. But now it's Sky Sports and Europe, some kind of European station. They aren't good at doing golf tournaments. Let me just put it that way. They can't find the ball too many times, but I just didn't think the coverage overall was very good. And there was way too many commercials. This is why the Masters is always going to be my favorite major or favorite tournament of any kind. Limited commercials, it's just a beautiful place, and these guys know what they're doing. It's such a better broadcast. I didn't think it was a good weekend for NBC. That's me personally. It was a good weekend for Ryan Fox. Excited about that. And of course, I don't know how you look at DeChambeau's weekend. Well, he was in contention, had a chance to win the thing, got the 2-stroke penalty, threatened not to play, threatened to call the president, all this stuff. Rory jumped his butt on one interview. Other guys were coming to his defense. Look, do I think he was trying to get the grass down, and was he trying to do it in a sneaky way where nobody was, I was just walking over here, Yeah, he was trying to. Look, they gave him a 2-stroke penalty. He didn't lose by 2. That's all you need to know. All right, let's move along to number 4 on our money medals. Starting 5, you can reach them at moneymedals.com. Don't forget they got that Gator silver coin that's available. That thing is beautiful. We showed it on the show before. I did want to talk a little bit about Florida basketball because they just wrapped up their summer work. Now they get a little bit of time off. And really good story by Chris Harry at floridagators.com talking about how Golden is trying so hard to get through to these guys, what the expectations are going to be. And it's kind of like nobody is going to say title or bust to these guys. You should not say that. You should say be the best you can be. Be the best version of yourself, and everything will take care of itself. What I have also been told is they are so deep this year. It could be, and I wrote about this again for the Main Street Daily News. This could be like the 2000 team, where you had Donnell Harvey, Brett Nelson, Matt Bonner, Major Parker, Kenyon Weeks, all coming off the bench. I mean, that's a pretty good starting five right there. And this is the way they think it may be this year with Isaiah Brown, with Klabchar, with obviously Ingram coming off the bench. Alex Lloyd's had a great summer. It could be a similar kind of deal. Now, again, a lot depends on what happens with Denzel. We don't have an answer on that yet. I've said what I believe on that. But it sounds like, listening to people that know and that are at practice all the time, this team is getting it, and they're going to be really good. But we already presume that. They're going to be number one. We know that in the preseason. And guess what? It's just like a big, giant Target logo on your back. So, all right. Let's move along to number 5 on our MoneyMetals.com starting 5. And as we always do on Mondays, Steve and Christine Wendig present the Olympic Gator of the Weekend. And, of course, it is brought to you by Boss Art Realty, where Steve and Christine Wendig are employed. All right, our Gator of the Weekend, Olympic Gator of the Weekend. It's amazing. We have not had a problem getting Olympic Gator of the Weekends, even though nobody's playing anything right now. But they're doing it in other places. And in this case, it was Sky Blakely, who, of course, will be a junior next year. Hopefully she stays healthy. And boy, she's going to be something next year. She won 2 events at the U.S. Classic. I think it was in Salt Lake, I want to say. Maybe it was. I'm getting things confused. But anyway, she won the uneven bars and the balance beam at the U.S. Classic. Next up for her and for a lot of the Gators, either incoming or former Gators, will be the U.S. Nationals. And so that'll be interesting to see how she does there. But Sky Blakely is our Steve and Christine Wendig, Boss Art Realty, present the Olympic Gator of the Weekend. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll talk to the HBC. Steve Spurrier will join us here on another Dooley Noted podcast presented by Titan MRI and Imaging and coming to you from the Meldon Law Gator Studio. You know, I got thinking the other day, some of us gained a few pounds during the Spurrier years, and then maybe a few more during Urban. And depending on how stressful certain coaching changes were, well, let's just say the scale kept moving in the wrong direction. The truth is, losing weight gets harder as we get older. Not because you suddenly get lazy, biology changes. That's why I like our guys at BMI TeleMed. They're a Florida-based medical weight management telehealth practice that helps people lose weight with personalized treatment plans, including GLP-1 therapies. But what I like is they're not just about losing weight fast and wishing you luck. They focus on helping you keep it off too. Free consultation, easy process, real clinicians. Check them out at bmitelemed.com, because if your metabolism left town around the time Urban did, you're probably not alone. That's bmitelemed.com.
Titan MRI, North Central Florida's premier independent diagnostic testing MRI facility. At Titan MRI, we're focused on you, the patient, having a great customer experience. Our MRI equipment is modern and 75% quieter than any unit in its class. And our MRI unit has one of the largest openings of any of the newer high-strength MRI units, which allows comfortable scanning for potential claustrophobic and larger patients. At Titan MRI, we look forward to serving you.
Ever dreamed of catching a touchdown pass from Tim Tebow or Danny Warfel? Or taking a handoff from the legendary Steve Spurrier? Then you need to join the Florida Legends Experience on Sunday, August 23rd. You'll receive a personal video of your touchdown and your football signed by the Gator Heisman winner. Enjoy an unforgettable day of Gator greatness while supporting the incredible mission of the Isaiah 117 House. Tickets are limited. Get yours now at fllegends.com. That's fllegends.com. Don't miss your chance to be part of Gator history.
Welcome back to another Dooley Noted podcast presented by Titan MRI and Imaging, coming to you from the Meldon Law Gator Studios here at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. Meldon Mondays mean that we have the coach in here, and of course they're a sponsor of his appearances here, and we love having him. And FCC Media Days have started, so the coaches are getting ready to go. They're going through the car wash now, and I know that you always kind of got a kick out of going to FCC Media Days.
Yeah, they're using my phrase. It's talking season.
That's right.
even had a little video of when I said that.
Yeah, I saw.
I guess in 91 or 92. I don't know what it was. It was a long time ago. But, yeah, everybody goes down there and says pretty much the same thing. So I talked a little differently. You know, I remember one day, one game down there, Bianchi or somebody said, "Who's your punter going to be?" And I said, "Well, you know, we hadn't really put a lot of emphasis on punting because I don't think we are going to punt a lot this year." And they said, "Well, this guy's crazy." But, yeah, our punter, Shane Edge was a great punter, though.
Oh, he was.
And he ran from punt formation a couple of times, and he averaged about 50 yards a punt in some of those championship games. So he's maybe Florida's all-time leading punter, Shane Edge.
I remember when you called out the commissioner that one year. You said, "We need a playoff." And he was in the back of the room. That was when it was a lot smaller than it is now.
Yeah, it was a lot smaller back in those days. And well, that was because we can't all play each other.
Yeah.
So, and that may be what we revert back to because that extra week with all the playoff games coming up, those two teams, they say, well, this is an extra game we don't need if we're going to win the national championship. Right. But they have de-emphasized conference championships, and I think they are extremely important. And there's, well, how many conferences? We got 4 power conferences. That's all we got now. So winning one of those is big time.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
And then even the others. Coach Summerall, he's won 3 conference championships in 4 years and played for it the other year. That's why I got him ranked in definitely my top 10. And maybe even a little better, but he's only been a head coach 4 years. So, I think
there was something in the paper the other day about ranking the coaches. Yeah.
Yeah, they went all the way through 25. I wrote them all down. They had Signetti number 1 and Kirby Smart number 2. I'm gonna put both those guys number 1. I think they've proven to be the 2 best. Kirby's won, I think, 4 SEC championships. The rest of the coaches in the conference, 0. Nobody else has won one but Kirby. So that's interesting how that's played out. And, of course, Signetti, I mean, the way his teams play, fundamentally sound, no mistakes. And they're really good now.
They play smart.
It'll be interesting to see if they can do it again this year.
Yeah.
Be interesting. But, yeah, after that, a lot of coaches are highly ranked simply because they're at big schools. They win a lot. You can't help but win a lot at some of these big schools. But until they break through and win a conference championship or something else, to me they're good coaches, but not the great coaches yet.
Who do you have number 3?
Well, I had 3 tied, a bunch of them. Ryan Day, Marcus Freeman, they had Kiffin's in sort of that group, although you know how many SECs he's won? 0.
Yeah.
And another guy I put in the top 5 is Dabo Swinney. You know how many conferences he's won?
He's won a few.
Try 10.
10?
10
I didn't
and
know
2 nationals. 10 and 2
good.
nationals. And then this past year, Manny Diaz got in the game because of how they did it. Duke had a 7-5 record and beat Virginia in overtime to win the ACC championship. And they did not make the playoffs, but still, that was pretty neat for Manny Diaz to get him an ACC championship.
Yeah, It's interesting. You know, and that's kind of one of the themes I wrote about, and I talked about earlier today was at SEC Media Days, everybody in the SEC is trying to get back to something. Like the SEC's trying to get back because 3 straight years they haven't won the national title. They're trying to get back to that. Florida's obviously trying to get back. Auburn's trying to get back. You would have thought those 2 schools would never have gotten into this dark place they are with all these losses. Can Georgia get back to being a national title contender? There's a lot of get-backs, you know, coming up this year.
Well, they've been a contender, and of course Kirby's won a couple. But and they'll be probably in the top 16 or whatever they go with this year. But yeah, it's to me that those conference championships should be emphasized. And if we don't have a playoff game, then we're going back like we did when I was here in 90 and 91. There was no playoff game. Whoever had the best record wins it, and we had the best record in 90 and 91. So we won it both those years, and then we went to the championship game after that.
Have you heard of if there's any movement towards honoring those teams, like the 90 team and the 84 and 85 teams? Because obviously they did honor them, then they took it away. And I think, they're giving things back to people, Vernon Maxwell and things like that. And I know the 84 team really feels strongly about it. But they've had their reunions and everything.
Yeah, I think the 84 team deserves to be called the SEC
because they
champ.
played the season not knowing that they weren't playing for it.
In our university, will tell you, well, when the SEC office, the guys there can say we are champs, then we'll do it. So they blame the office, and then the office, when you ask them, they don't want to talk about it. It's one of those things where we're not into that. It's up to the university. So they go back and forth a little bit. But, I'm going to claim the 84 and obviously the 90. Both teams won it. The 90 team didn't have any violations.
No.
The infraction committee said these guys have done nothing.
Yeah.
And we all left the meeting, figured that was it. And then they said, well, if we just say they can't go to a bowl game, that won't be hardly any penalty at all. I wish back then I'd say, hey, take 5 scholarships and let these guys be called the champ if they win it. But I don't know, a lot of our people involved in the athletic department and the president and all of them said, hey, we have not won the SEC since we've been here, which is about 37 years, I think. Why do we think we're going to win it now? And so anyway, that's the way it happened. But to me, I think we've won 10 SECs, 84, and 90 or 2 that
well, actually 85 too, because they had the best record.
Yeah, they tied for it with another team,
Yep.
which is perfectly part of being called the champ.
Back in those days, you were co-champs.
Co-champs, and that.
I don't know if I ever told you this story, but one day I'm up in Athens and I'm interviewing. I'm there to interview Ray Goff. It's the year that you guys played up there. Okay, 95, yeah. And I'm sitting there, and he's got his feet up on his desk. He's got a toothpick in his mouth, typical Ray Goff. And he goes, I look at this trophy, and I go, it says SEC Division Champs. And I'm looking at it, and I look at the year finally, and it was the year before because technically they tied, but you guys beat them in the head-to-head. And I'm like, but why would you display that prominently?
Well, they say they won the division. They didn't win anything else all those years. So they got a piece of the division championship now.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about the golf. I know you watched that yesterday, and that was interesting.
It really was. Ryan Fox, I'd never heard of him, but man, can he play? And it was his time, I guess, to birdie those last 2 holes. Everybody else was struggling like crazy.
And nobody was birdieing 18.
No.
Yeah.
No, he hit that drive right dead down the middle, and that's about the only way you can hit the green and hit it right down the middle. But Ryan Fox, he and then he made all the putts when he needed to.
Well, they timed how long it took him to put that birdie putt. 22 seconds was all it took. I mean, I love that he plays fast.
Yeah.
Scheffler, apparently, they were playing in another tournament, and Scheffler told him, he goes, I don't even feel like you're part of the threesome. Because you're hitting the ball while we're still getting our gloves
Walking
on.
around.
Yeah.
But
he, I mean, he's a really good player, and I enjoyed watching him play. But it certainly was interesting. A lot of controversy, the DeChambeau thing, and DeChambeau tried to call the president to get him to overturn it. That's going to be the new thing now. If you get a holding call, you're going to call the president and say, hey, can you overturn that?
He did call the president?
He tried to, and they said, no, we're not going to let you do that.
Yeah, I think he and Trump are good buddies.
They are,
seems like.
But it was wild. I don't know, but tamping the grass down back there, you would have called that on him.
Well, it's funny. I'm watching him. He's walking all around and trampling the gas down. I said, well, where's the ball? And then he came, the ball was way up here.
Yeah.
And he was tramping for his backswing.
His
backswing.
backswing.
That was out of the way. And then he clumped it down and knocked it out of there.
Yeah,
But, I don't know.
It is what it is. I mean, everybody puts the club down, and you do knock down a little grass, but you can't be stepping on it. Somebody had a great meme out on Twitter. DeChambeau on this hole, and they showed him with a weed whacker, just goes cutting all the weeds down so he could have. And then Scheffler took advantage of the rules too, late and almost. He hits the ball in nowhere, and he gets a great drop out of it. So it is what it is. And golf is a sport, though, that is played by honorable men, and that's the great thing about it. And when they aren't honorable, they get called out on it. So. And also, I know you watched the World Cup, right?
Oh, yeah.
The final?
Yep. I watched about all of it, I think. There wasn't a lot of action until the very, very end. Not much scoring. But the fans, it's amazing. They packed the stadiums, and it was loud, and 1-0 was good enough.
Yeah.
One score the whole day.
That would have been something, though, because if it had stayed with no score in the extra time, they would have gone to penalty kicks, and neither team would have scored. And they, because when they flashed the score, it still says 0-0, and then in penalty kicks it was this score. So, but I think that's why it's hard for us Americans to fully embrace the soccer. But imagine if we played the Super Bowl every 4 years. That feels like what it is. Or the NCAA tournament every 4 years. The other years you're playing in like the NIT and the Bahamas Bowl and stuff. I mean, it's just, it's different. But again, we do that with the Olympics too.
Yeah. Yeah, every 4 years does sort of make it a little more special, I would guess. But I tell you, when you're used to watching football, there's like 20, 30 seconds in between plays. At least there's a play all the time. What gets me about soccer, they kick it back and forth to each other on their end of the field. And they should have in basketball, you can't just piddle around on your side. You got to get across the line and go do something. I guess they'll never put a clock on soccer, though.
Well, even that, I mean, to me, the biggest flaw that soccer has, and again, millions of people love it. We know the numbers are through the roof. Yeah. I get that. I understand. A lot of you have a great allegiance to your country and everything. I get all that, okay? But the biggest problem I have is that only one guy knows how much time's left in the game.
That is amazing.
And he's looking at it, but nobody else knows. They can't even flash it up there. It's just, here's how much time we think might be left.
Yeah, that was interesting because you're just watching, and then finally Spain scores, and how much time's left? Well, I don't know. They're still playing.
That's right. It's complicated, but anyway, it was a great World Cup, and I think we all enjoyed it. I mean, to the extent that we do like soccer, we don't love it.
Wonder how much money they spend on that halftime show. Oh, good gracious!
I don't know.
Madonna and all those
Justin
superstars.
Bieber.
Yeah, it was something. Anyway.
Yeah, it was something. I'm not sure what it was, but it was something. Yeah. It was weird because it almost seemed like it was AI generated.
Yeah, it did.
Time. Yeah. It was really odd. But, hey, speaking of, we were talking about golf before, that we need to get to our Campus USA play of the weekend.
Up into the wind. Just left of it. Good line.
Is it ever? Fox with an incredible look to win it.
The thing I loved about what Ryan Fox said in the interview afterwards, he said, I just decided on the tee, I'm going to go for this. I'm going to go try win this tournament right now, rather than, I just got to hit a 7-iron, and Van de Velde should have hit a 7-iron off the tee, but he said, and I'm going to pipe this drive right down the middle and hit a 9-iron right up close, cozy it in there.
9-iron from about 175 or something.
That's what I hit, right?
Yeah,
I'm hitting like 5 wood.
But he hit the ball so straight,
I know.
Golly, no fade, no draw, just. Phew. It was fun to watch.
That had to be a great feeling to see that, But then you got to make the putt too. And he walked right up there, 22 seconds, knocked it in. I think these guys do sometimes overanalyze reads and overanalyze shots, and look, I understand if you've got a weird lie. I get that in your in the rough or something. But when you're in the middle of the fairway, it shouldn't be that hard. Just go hit it.
Yeah.
You know what the club is.
Yeah.
Hit it.
Well, if Scotty Scheffler had a good putting week, he
Oh.
would have won easily, but he just did not. It was very unusual for him to miss so many makeables throughout the tournament. Still caught, what, third place, I think? Something like that.
Yeah, it was funny because he hit that drive on, I think it was 17. And when he hit it, he just lost his mind. He was, I can't believe that, because the ball it was cutting, but it didn't kick down. It just stayed right there. And that's as much emotion as I've ever seen him show.
Yeah, he was yelling at something and nobody knew what. Who was that?
That's right.
Yeah.
It was crazy. All right, Coach. Well, it's SEC Media Days, so we're going to have a lot to talk about next week because we got a bunch going on, and we'll find out what everybody's going to say. You know, usually not a lot of news comes out of this, but I know, for example, Kentucky's D-line coach was announced today is retired, so they're going to get another one. But other than that, I mean, I don't know that we're going to hear a bunch of breaking news. Everybody will wait for Lane Kiffin on the last day and see what silly thing he's going to say.
Yeah, I guess so. It'd be, I don't know how interesting, but maybe something will come out of it. Different, who knows?
I think the media's going to love John Sumrall, though, because the way he's very direct with you, and he likes being in those media settings, kind of like you did. Yeah,
he says all the right stuff, which really most of them do. But anyway, Jed Fish was here this past weekend.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, his daughter wants to go to Florida, and they came here for a quick little visit around campus and so forth. And then he's the head coach at University of Washington.
Right.
And he went to school here.
A lot of people wanted him to come here, yeah.
His name was mentioned as possible candidate, but he's got like a seven-year buyout.
Yeah.
And, he needs, to me, I think it's best he stays there for several years if he can. And then whatever happens, I guess, after that. But anyway, Jed's one of the few guys that calls the plays, head coach, play caller, and has done an excellent job. I think they won 9 last year, 9-4, something like that.
Hey.
So pretty good.
I think he's one of those guys that's in that second tier, you know.
Right now.
Yeah. But again, we didn't like when the last coach was a play caller. I know that.
Who's that, Dan Mullen?
No,
Or
Billy Napier.
Billy? Oh.
And he's even come
He
out
was
now
funny.
and said, that was probably a mistake.
Yeah.
I was too stubborn. Well, we were telling you this the whole time, but anyway.
That's true.
It'll be interesting to see, and we'll talk more about it going forward on next Monday. So,
All right.
all right, Coach, we'll let you get out of here, and we'll be back with Robbie Andrew for Yes, No, Way, or Maybe here on another duly noted podcast presented by Titan MRI and Imaging, coming to you from the Meldon Law Gator Studios at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill.
Meldon Law has been serving personal injury victims since 1971. In those days, Jeffrey Meldon's presence as an attorney in the music scene dubbed him with the nickname the Hippie Attorney. And although times have changed, two things haven't: our commitment to bettering our community by helping the injured,
Albert, are you ready to go to the game?
and our love for the Florida Gators.
If you bleed orange and blue, Meldon Law is the firm for you.
Give me 60 seconds and I'll show you why you should be buying silver and how to get started. Recent price spikes in groceries, healthcare, gasoline, steel, and lumber tell the story of inflation, as do raging bull markets and equities in housing. As the reality of all this inflation sinks in, investors will be acting quickly to diversify and protect themselves, their families, and their assets. That's why we're offering our Silver Starter Kit to help you get started in holding tangible wealth. This mix of our most recommended forms of silver includes 9 silver coins, totaling 4 troy ounces of fine silver. These pure silver coins have a low bid-ask spread, the difference between the price you pay to buy and the price you receive to sell. Low transaction costs are one reason Investopedia calls Money Metals the best dealer in America. Don't waste any more time. Start protecting your savings today with physical precious metals at moneymetals.com/go.
Adams Rib Company has been a staple of Gainesville for more than a decade and a staple of the Dooley house ever since Kelsey's teeth came in. The first time I walked into Adams, I told my daughter that the green beans are always a test of a great barbecue restaurant, and they were perfect. You know about the ribs that melt in your mouth, and my favorite, the turkey plate. But be sure to go in on Fridays for Nana's Fish Nuggets. They will melt in your mouth. Adams Ribco, a Gainesville great. Okay, welcome back to another duly noted podcast presented by Titan MRI and Imaging, coming to you from the Meldon Law Gator Studios here at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. It's a great pleasure, as always, on Mondays to join Robert A. Andrew on our Big Mills Cheesesteak Zoom line. Robbie, how you doing?
Good, Patrick. How was your weekend?
It was okay. I watched a lot of sports. Got to the gym once. That was good. So, but like you, I watched a lot of golf. I watched the World Cup, and now I'm going to be watching SEC Media Days, I guess. I'm wondering if you're happy that you don't have to be there, or you're saying, why couldn't they have had it in Tampa when we were driving 8 hours to Hoover every year, or you just don't care?
Pat, I'm happy I'm not there. I don't even know when Florida goes on. Is it tomorrow or the next
Wednesday? They're the third team on Wednesday.
I'll watch that, but I don't miss being there in any shape, way, or form. So
you don't want to watch Brett Venables?
No.
Those are long days, man.
They are long days.
They're long, and then you finally get to, and you got to do videos and everything, of course, in the modern days, and then the nights are great because usually there's a party for you or something. So that was the best part.
The thing is, though, I do wish we'd been able to go to Tampa one year instead of making that drive. That'd have been pretty neat. But I guess they're going back to Nashville next year.
Well, I saw where somebody was complaining about how, I can't believe they're having this in Tampa. It's so hard for everybody to get to it. I'm like, no, it's not. It's not hard at all. It's a flight. Yeah. If you want to drive there, we drove 8 hours every year to Hoover. Okay, I mean, okay, I'm sorry that we have one in the state of Florida, the first time ever. But quit bitching. Yeah. And of course,
we never complained where Media Days was, Pat.
We never did. We always kind of liked it. We always liked the drive and playing Howard Stern all the way out there. And but hey, we don't have to worry about what the media thinks anymore. But we do. We'll still pay attention to it because it's time for us to play the game we love to play. Yes, no way, or maybe. Brought to you by Big Mills Cheesesteak. Street dining done absolutely perfectly. Go over there and have a great meal. They have everything you could possibly want, believe me. And if you mention the podcast, you get free French fries with your order. Big Mills Cheesesteak. We appreciate them. Number one on yes, no, where, maybe, Robert. Florida will not be in the top half of the media poll when it's released later this week.
I'm going to say a yes on that one, Pat. I mean, I went to the bookstore last week, was reading all the football magazines, and it's not a real pretty picture for Florida going into the year from the view of other people in other parts of the conference. And, I think last year everybody thought Florida would be a dark horse team because they finished 24 strong. But, now I don't get that feeling. Now I think they're kind of pushing Florida to the side thinking, we thought they might be better last year, but we're not going to fall for that this year. Wait and see on them. So, they're going to be in the bottom part of the league when the media voting comes out at the end of the week.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to be in the top 8 to be in the top half, and I don't think they'll be in there. I think it'll be 9 or 10, somewhere in there. But, I mean, as you know, it doesn't really matter what other people think. I think a lot of people, when all those guys came back, Jaden Baugh and Vernell and all those guys, they were like, hey, Florida might be pretty good. And then they did a deeper dive, and they went, I don't know about that offensive line. I don't know about, some other tight end as a position I have.
And like we talked about the other day when we were watching the World Cup, golf. We were watching golf, but Florida does not have a proven quarterback either. I mean, that's a huge question mark to me. And I know that people think that the two guys are going to be pretty good, but we don't know yet. We have no idea. So,
I mean,
usually the top teams have top quarterbacks usually. So right now, Florida doesn't have one,
and they may have one, but we certainly there's no evidence. I mean, I think both of them have thrown 21 completions. Each of them have 21 completions, which is kind of weird. But that tells you
it's just a huge unknown, Pat. I mean, that's
and the one you got to go. You're going up.
Don't want to be an unknown.
You're going up against Trinidad Chambliss. You're going up against Arch Manning. Lenora Sellers, Gunnar Stockton. I mean, there's some really good quarterbacks in this league, and right now we don't know if Florida has one. So, and you have to go up against Ashford.
We don't know who Florida's quarterback is yet, Pat. We probably won't know till the week before the opener. So,
yep. Well, we'll see what happens there. But I agree with you on that. I think they will be in the second half in terms of the media prediction. All right. Number 2, Robbie on Yes, Nowhere, maybe brought to you by Big Mills Cheesesteaks. You were rooting for Spain yesterday in the World Cup.
Yeah, I was rooting for Spain, Pat, but I was also, rooting for both teams in a way. And I kind of wanted, if it when it went into overtime, my goal then was no goals, let's go to penalty kicks. That'd be really cool, even though purists don't like that. But, an American fan like you and me, we would love to see it come down to penalty kicks. So, I was pulling for both teams. I mean, I liked Argentina. I liked Spain. I thought they were both really elite, skillful teams that were a lot of fun to watch. But, man, Spain's defense is unbelievable. I mean, they didn't give up a goal the whole World Cup. So
they were incredible. Yeah, and
if you don't give up any goals, you're going to win. That's what happened.
Yeah, I think they are they were the better team. I think it would have been a shame if Argentina won without scoring in regulation. But
I mean, the fact that Argentina did not have a shot on goal through 90 minutes of regular time is stunning to me with the skill they have. So.
Yeah, but again, good defense. But I don't know. Are we allowed now to be disinterested in soccer?
You can be.
The real football's coming, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But I definitely loved the World Cup. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, it was great. It was great theater, and great to see those crowds too. All right, and finally, number 3 on Yes, Nowhere, maybe with Robbie Andrew, brought to you by Big Mills Cheesesteak. Golf would be better on TV if it was played as fast as Ryan Fox plays golf.
Pat, absolutely yes on that one. I mean, I started watching on Saturday. I didn't even know who he was, really, to be honest with you. I didn't know where he was from. But I really liked the way he was playing fast with confidence. And he shot, 62 on Saturday?
Yeah.
So I was pulling for him yesterday. And, to come down to the 2 biggest shots of his life, and he just gets up there and hits them both, hit both great shots, that just shows you, he's not wasting time. He's not thinking too much. He knows what he's going to do, and he does it. And I think more golfers should do that, pro golfers, and move the game along a little bit. Otherwise, you got so many delays out there, like the, guys taking forever to read putts. And, I just love the way he played, and I was glad he won.
Yeah, I was too. I was rooting for him. That's the way Billy Horschel used to play, and now he's doing more, taking more time, and he's doing that pretend swing, and I think maybe he should get back to that. Now, he missed the second straight cut, but he only missed by a shot, which I think tells you that he's not playing terrible.
No, that means he was only 2 over probably. So
he was 2 over.
That's not bad.
2 over, yeah. Exactly. Yeah, you're right. All right, Robbie, we'll let you go.
Okay, Pat, but I'm definitely a fan of Fox now for sure, the golfer.
Well, Fox on the run, that's what we say. All right, see you, buddy.
Absolutely. Okay, Pat, see you.
Okay, always great to have Robbie on the show. And, of course, Coach Spurrier. What a duo they make on a Meldon Monday. All right, let us move along to our Adams Ribco Gator of the weekend, brought to you by our friends at Adams Rib Company, the place to go for all your barbecue needs. It is delicious. Our Gator of the weekend is Skylar Wallace. Now, you remember Skylar Wallace, of course. Great player at Florida, now playing in the AUSL. And she became, I think she was the first player to hit 3 homers in one game. She did it at Florida, too, hit 3 homers in one game. She's one of 3 players there. She's the first one in the pro league to hit 3 homers in a game. I remember when Skylar Wallace was kind of a slap hitter when she first came up. But, boy, she learned how to hit with power, and she is our Adams Ribco Gator of the weekend. Our Leonardo's at Millhopper quick pick. Tracy Gill, you should have your gift certificate by now. I sent it to you. If you don't, let me know. We're just going to give you a simple one here. And this one we won't know, I don't think, till Friday, the answer, whether you got it right or not. To qualify for another $25 gift certificate at Leonardo's of Millhopper, where you can go and see Kyle, see Tara, have a dual sandwich. You're set. All right. Texas or Georgia? Who is going to be picked to win the SEC? Pretty simple question. Just send it to Patrick Dooley 54 at gmail.com. Either put Texas or put Georgia. I wanted to make it complicated, but let's just get as many people qualify as we can so somebody can win. We always love doing it with Leonardo's. And also, you will receive a Patreon gift card, not gift card, but a link where you get a month free because that has been donated also by Kyle at Leonardo's. All right, let's move along to our BMI TeleMed Overachiever of the Weekend. Brought to you by our friends at BMI TeleMed, your weight loss specialists achieve and maintain with BMI TeleMed, 727-383-1677. Give them a call. Tell them Pat Dooley sent you. You get a discount on your order. Our Overachiever of the Weekend is Michael Brennan. Now, many of you probably don't know who Michael Brennan is. Michael Brennan's a pro golfer. He's actually won on the tour. To be honest, I didn't really know who he was. But Michael Brennan... he won one of those October events, where it's not a full field, it's not the elite players, which is fine. You still get paid a lot of money. But anyway, that was last year. This year, he's got something even more impressive, which is he is one of 14 players who made the cut in every major. He'd played in one major and never made a cut in a major, made all 4 cuts. That is saying something. Now, I know that's not going to involve tons of money, but it's money. But for Michael Brennan to have made it in one of 14, and like Rory, it was Rory, Scheffler, Michael Brennan out of nowhere. I knew a Michael Brennan, actually. I worked with a guy named Michael Brennan. Maybe it's him. I don't think so. That would have been a long time ago. All right. That is our BMI TeleMed Overachiever of the Weekend. Let us move along to our Hesser and Kipke. 3 things. Hesser and Kipke, with over 50 years of combined legal experience in North and Central Florida, Hesser and Kipke is your place for bankruptcy, workers' compensation, and family law. Call or text Ken and Jennifer at 352-339-9920, Hesser and Kipke. Okay, so what the heck is going on with the Red Sox? I mean, I think like a lot of people, I know that people get mad at me when I say this. I'm a Braves fan first. I'm a Red Sox fan second. I wanted teams in different leagues. I became a Red Sox fan in '67, the Impossible Dream year. So don't tell me I'm a bandwagon guy. No. That's the team I root for in the American League. The Braves are playing the Red Sox. I'm rooting for the Braves every time. Okay, we've established that over the time. But I had kind of given up on them, and now they've won 13 in a row. It's the most they've won in a row since 1948. And no, I did not cover that team. I promise. They're only 6 games behind Tampa Bay. And the funny thing is, Tampa Bay got swept by them and didn't fall out of first because the Yankees are getting beat too. I don't know what's going on in that division. There's a lot of weird divisions. In fact, I had no idea the Rangers were leading their division when they were playing the Braves. They were leading their division. They're like 2 games over 500. There's too much parity in baseball, I think, except the Dodgers, of course. But anyway, really interesting to watch this, how the Red Sox have done this. I don't know how they've done it. They just have done it. 13 straight wins. All right, let's get to number 2 on our Hesser and Kipke 3 things. Coach Spurrier was talking about Kurt Signetti earlier, and one thing he did this week was he landed their first ever 5-star prospect, a kid named Monshan Sales, wide receiver. Good for them. I think it's very admirable that he has been able to do that. Obviously, what he's doing there, and he could have left. He could have gone to Indiana and every job it felt like was open. 6 jobs were open in the SEC, Penn State. All those jobs that were open this year, he could have left. No, he was all in. And you got to admire the guy. He's a pretty good coach and pretty good recruiter. That's not how he won, though, at Indiana. He won because he was the king of the portal, the true king of the portal. And I do wear my Indiana T-shirt proudly, which I bought after they beat Miami. I wore it the other day, actually. Actually, I wore it yesterday to the gym. All right, and then number 3 on our Hesser and Kipke 3 thing is that, I don't know if you're aware of this, if you watch any of this. In fact, I flip around and all of a sudden I go, who's that? It's Sean Kelly doing a Summer League game. And so I watched a little bit of it, and then I found out some stuff about what's been going on, and the Golden State Warriors won it. And one reason they won it was a big defensive play by Will Richard, of all people. Now, I say that of all people. He has a knack for getting tips and knocking the ball loose, and he's doing really good things. They love him out there, and I hope he can keep it going out there. But so they win that. They win the Summer League. Do you put a banner up for that? I don't think so. I think it's like when you won that pretend league that they had that one year during COVID. Anyway, all right. That is our Hesser and Kipke 3 things. We move along to our Learner Law segment, and we want to bring this up. Learner Law, of course, where you go to get your closings. They do a great job over there, and we appreciate them. The Atlanta Hustle finished their season. This is really, it makes me sad, to be honest, because I've kind of gotten invested in the Atlanta Hustle, the Ultimate Frisbee team. They lost their last 3 in a row by a total of 5 points. That's a shame. That's hard. So I don't think they made the playoff. It's kind of hard when you look at the website to know exactly what's going on. But I'm pretty sure they didn't make the playoffs. But the Atlanta Hustle. So we're getting to that time where we're going to be able to start focusing back on the club teams, and we appreciate Learner Law for all their help that they give us. All right, let us move along to our Gallo Car Wash Sponge of the Weekend. Brought to you by Gallo Car Wash, the place we go to get our cars washed, and it's unbelievable how great that place is. I'm going to go with Mabapi. That's the way you say it, right? Mabapi? Sure. All right, so they're playing in the third place game, and he's like, well, I guess we want to win this. But I know what I'd want to win. I want to win the Golden Boot. So what does he do? He scores 2 goals in a 19-18 game. What was the final? 6-4, I think. Which 6-4 is like 19-18 to me. And that allowed him to win his second Golden Boot in a row. And also because Messi didn't score. So he soaked up that Golden Boot by scoring those goals against, England. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So I'm trying to get all these places straight. But so he is our Gallo Car Wash Sponge of the Week, Mabapi. Last time I'll probably say that for another 4 years. All right. Let us move along. We appreciate Gallo Car Wash. Let's move along to our Mark Gaida presents the 12. We always love doing this with Mark Gaida from Pepin Realty. He does a great job, and we try to give you a different group. And this is the best NFL coaches of all time. CBS Sports got their 6 NFL guys together and had them vote on it. I'm going to go backwards on this just to tell you how it goes, okay? Number 12 would be John Madden. I think that's a good choice. 11, Curly Lambeau, never covered him. 10, Tom Landry. 9, Joe Gibbs, could be higher. 8, Andy Reid, again, could be higher. 6 is George Halas. Yeah, he had a lot of innovations too, so I get that, but I don't. Don Shula at 5, Paul Brown at 4, Walsh at 3. I don't know how Bill Walsh should be ahead of. Did I mention Chuck Noll at 7? I don't think I did. Chuck Noll was at 7. I don't know how he should be ahead of Chuck Noll and Don Shula, but he is. Lombardi at number 2. When I was in high school, I was kind of like the guy that everybody thought knew football. Like I didn't, but I tried to pretend like I did. And I had a friend who used to call me Vince Dooley. So that's my take. And number 1, Bill Belichick. Now, my first reaction was, well, Bill Belichick, look, his legacy's been tarnished, blah, blah, blah. It was all Brady. Brady had a lot to do with it, but it wasn't like he was surrounded by superstars. And Belichick got the most out of those teams and won a bunch of Super Bowls. So I think no matter how much we want to make fun of all the stuff that's going on there, I think as far as being an NFL coach, he's number one. I would agree with that. My first reaction was to disagree with it, but the more I thought about it, I do agree with it. So that is our Mark Gator presents the 12 here on another duly noted podcast. All right, let's move along to our games of the week, brought to you by the Swamp Restaurant, where I know a lot of you have been the last few days watching the World Cup, watching golf, watching obviously Love Island UK, which my wife's still into, because Love Island's over, but Love Island UK is going good. And it's a great place to go for all the great food specials and great drink specials. The Swamp Restaurant. All right, we'll start with baseball tonight, Monday. Dodgers at Phillies at 7 on ESPN, and then St. Louis at the Angels at 10 on ESPN. Tuesday, LA at Philly. Is there anybody else playing? LA at Philly. I will probably watch it, though, because I got a negative root against Philly because the Braves are in their division. All right. I hate the Dodgers, too. I just won't watch it. 6:40 on TBS Tuesday, LA at Philly. And then Wednesday, Detroit at the Cubs at 8 o'clock on ESPN. So a lot of those. Media Days is just going on all week. You know that. It comes on at 7 o'clock. They do a lot of setups for it. And then I think they get going about 8:30. And, just sit and watch if you want to. Summerall, they can't even give you the time he's going to be on. That's the weird thing about it. But he's the third up in the big room on Wednesday. So that's all you really need to know. And then also Wednesday, WNBA, Connecticut at Indiana. Little Caitlin Clark action. What you have, 45 and 10 the other day? That's pretty impressive. 8 o'clock on the USA Network. So, again, this is the time of year, guys, when there's not a ton going on, but there's enough going on to keep our interest. Like I said, I thought the soccer was a great bridge to SEC Media Days. Now we got that for a week. Then we're getting ready to get practice started. It's about to get great again. Make Gainesville great again. That's my goal. All right? So we will be back on the No Show on Thursday. David Steele will join us, and we'll let you know then who our guests will be the following Thursday. Usually I start working on that right after this show. And I'll do that. Zach did a great job, as always, our author in residence. And we'll be back with more of another duly noted podcast presented by Titan MRI and Imaging, coming to you from the Meldon Law Gator Studios on Thursday. Until then, I am Pat Dooley. I am deep. I am way back, and I am out of here.